We are happy to introduce the 26.1 release of Sage 100 Contractor. This release has some new features and some improvements to existing areas. Here are some of the new things in Release 26.1. We have added combined accounting and payroll archiving, improved our ACH processing and receipts, made it possible to create an employee email list, and other new improvements. We have combined accounting and payroll archiving. The payroll archiving process has been incorporated into the accounting archive process. However, if you are not performing a combined archive, the accounting archive process remains unchanged. There are a few requirements for combined archiving. The fiscal year-end date must be December 31st, and the accounting year and the payroll year being archived must be the same. When performing a combined archive, you will notice some extra text displayed in the lower area of the page. There is also a checkbox that allows you to opt out of a combined archive. This checkbox is selected by default. A payroll warning message will appear when performing a combined archive. This message normally appears in the payroll archive process. The Before You Begin wizard has also been updated to include an additional page for payroll options when performing a combined archive. This page offers the same maintenance options as the traditional payroll-only archive. The Maintenance Tasks segment processes the accounting maintenance options and includes the payroll options. The results of the maintenance tasks will include the number of employees removed and the number of employees marked as inactive. The archive oldest payroll year now includes options for removing employees from the current database. These options are the same as when creating a combined archive. An employee status of retired has been added, and there is now an option to remove only inactive employees. Note that the payroll archive process does not support creating a combined archive. If your company meets the criteria for a combined archive, a message will be displayed directing you to the Archive Oldest Fiscal Year screen. This message appears after selecting the company, and then moving to the field for entering the archive name. The results of employee removal now show the number of employees removed and the number of employees marked as inactive separately. Next, let's take a look at the ACH improvements. Deposit date has been added to for invoice payments, for 2 invoice payments, and the record payment by bank transfer window. The ACH payment receipt has also been updated to include the deposit date, invoice date, and the vendor's account number from the for vendor screen if it exists. Additionally, a sort by vendor name option has been added in the 438 ACH payment receipt report printing window. Another new feature in Release 26.1 is the ability to generate an employee email list. This can be accessed from the System menu under 7.8 Generate Employee Email List, or from the Administration menu in the Activity tabs. You can query employee data based on user-defined criteria and choose between the email address on the General tab or the Direct Deposit tab. The program presents a selection to the user, with the option to use the other email address if the preferred one is empty. The text for the checkbox changes based on the selection for the preferred email. Access to 7.8 requires security access to 521 employees. Payroll security applies, and employees marked for admin access only are excluded from the output if you are not a payroll admin. Security access to fields actively used in selection criteria and output fields, such as name and email addresses, is required. If security access is not available, a message will be received. Clicking Continue opens a list of employees that match the criteria. Employees displayed in gray text are disabled, meaning they have no email address and cannot be selected in this window. However, they are included in the list because they meet the criteria, and you may want to enter a missing email address for these employees before continuing. The output is a semicolon delimited list that is automatically copied to the Windows clipboard. The program clears the Windows clipboard in preparation for the new result. If cancelled, the clipboard remains empty. The initial criteria list is a default and can be easily modified by clicking Change Criteria. This opens the Query Define the Selection Criteria window. In addition to these new features and enhancements, there are also other new enhancements in Release 26.1. These include new queries in the 1.3 Journal Transaction window for cleared transactions, bank reconciliation cleared transactions, and credit card reconciliation cleared transactions. Outlook integration has also been improved, with several key elements addressed to facilitate a smoother integration process and enhance the user experience. However, external factors such as environmental and configuration issues may influence the effectiveness of these updates. It is important to note that the Try the New Outlook option is not compatible due to current Windows third-party API restrictions. New positive pay file enhancements have been added. You can now use spaces, non-alpha, and special characters for issued and void indicators. A checkbox has been added to the positive pay file settings screen for formatting amounts without decimals. This is applicable when the file format is to fixed text file. Finally, Vermont Act 76 of 2023 introduces the Child Care Contribution, CCC, which is composed of a 0.44% payroll tax on wages and a 0.11% self-employment income tax. The Vermont Department of Taxes is responsible for the implementation and administration of the CCC, and collection begins on July 1, 2024. Employers must pay a 0.44% payroll tax on all employee wages earned in Vermont. An employer may withhold up to 25% of the Child Care Contribution, CCC, from an employee's wages, with the maximum amount being 0.11% of an employee's wages. Employees have no CCC filing requirement and will see any CCC withheld by their employer reported on their W-2 tax form at the end of the year. CCC payroll tax payments must be remitted to the Vermont Department of Taxes in the same manner as Vermont income tax withholding. Quarterly reporting on the WHT 436 quarterly withholding reconciliation is required, and additional tax guidance and updated forms will be available on the Vermont Department of Taxes website. In this presentation, we covered several new features and enhancements in Release 26.1 of Sage 100 Contractor. These included combined accounting and payroll archiving, ACH enhancements, employee email list generation, and more. For detailed release notes, visit sage.com. We hope you found this information helpful and informative. And thank you for choosing Sage.